today I will be reviewing the book of my favorite author, Agatha Christie. As you can see in the cover, it says, Are you happy? If not, consult Parker Pyne. Say, for example, the wife has reported about the husband not being interested and being interested in someone else. He has also solved murders. He has also solved, mysteries in relationships. You know, when you read Agatha Christie, you won't be able to put it down till you've finished it. She gets you that hooked to a book. Welcome to TBR. Today the book that I will be talking about is a little different than most of the books that I have reviewed so far, because I have either reviewed non-fiction, which is mostly sports books, and then in fiction I have done a lot of murder mysteries as such. But today the book is more on social sciences, on feminism, on gender studies, and it's a very short book. It's just a 40-odd page book. What is Patriarchy? It was written by Kamla Bhasin, and it's a whole series that Kali Primaries had taken out. The other books in the series are Violence Against Women, New Movements and New Theories in India, some questions on feminism and its relevance in South Asia. But as of now, obviously, I'll stick to this book. So what is this book about? It unravels the many strands of patriarchy in a lucid and accessible style. It introduces patriarchy as an analytical category by feminists in theorizing women's subordination and how it is constituted at its origin. It also shows that how the whole system of patriarchy has evolved historically and in different parts of the world. It basically attempts to locate women's struggles for social change in a context where the patriarchal control of major social and political institutions make for special forms of discrimination against women. Now it's time for my favorite quotes. This book, of course, as you can understand, the subject of the book is such that the quotes are hard-hitting, and I think exposes a lot of, not only exposes, it also explains a lot of phenomena in the society. It explains the whole patriarchy, and for the first time, at least the way I have encountered patriarchy, is it's not just a term, it's not a single person, it's a whole system. So some of the quotes which are absolutely hard-hitting and true. The word patriarchy literally means the rule of the father or the patriarch, and originally it was used to describe a specific type of male-dominated family. The large household of the patriarch, which included women, junior men, children, slaves and domestic servants, all under the rule of this dominant male. Now it is used more generally to refer to male domination, to the power relationships by which men dominate women, and to characterize a system whereby women are kept subordinate in a number of ways. Basically, this quote shows how patriarchy or the whole patriarchal system has evolved not in a good way, and has changed itself according to the convenience of men, not all men, but men in general, patriarchs in general, not only men. As we listen to each other, we realize that this subordination is not the fate of a few of us who are unfortunate, nor is it some vicious men who exploit or oppress some women. We begin to understand what we are up against is a system of male domination and superiority of male control, in which women are subordinates. What is that men control in a patriarchal system? This whole topic was so interesting to read. Women's productive or labor power. Men benefit materially from patriarchy. They derive concrete economic gains from the subordination of women. In other words, there is a material basis for patriarchy. Women's reproduction. In modern times, the patriarchal state tries to control women's reproduction through its family planning programs. Control over women's sexuality. With the partial exception of mothers, the male culture defines women as sexual objects for male pleasure. Women's mobility. In order to control women's sexuality, production and reproduction, men need to control women's mobility. Women's role as producers and rearers of children and of labor power is not considered an economic contribution at all. And yet, if women give birth to a girl child, it's considered to be all wrong, because one of the main reasons that villagers state, or especially people of the working class state, is because their girl child is not going to work. It's the male child who's going to work. And yet when a woman produces a male child, it's not looked as a contribution. It's looked as something that she's supposed to do, as if she's a machine and not a human being. Men and women behave, think, aspire differently because they have been taught to think of masculinity and femininity in ways which condition difference. You know, patriarchy is also seen in a lot of women. For example, we always hear this whole issue between mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws. It's barely the father-in-law who gets into this clash. It's always the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, and one wonders that, you know, the mother-in-law would have also faced such things. Then why do the same with her daughter-in-law? But it is because people are conditioned that way. They think that is the, you know, that is the way a woman should be treated, and that is how a woman is supposed to behave. When you are a mother-in-law, you are supposed to suppress and oppress your daughter-in-law, because you are the woman of the family who has to control the daughter-in-law. Your daughter-in-law needs to be controlled because women, of course, need to be controlled. Men who are gentle and unaggressive are harassed and mocked for being sissies. Those who deal on equal terms with their wives are henpecked, or known, they are termed as so many other things. Because patriarchy, as I said, is a system, and because it's a system, it's not about men or women alone. Even men suffer because of this. Men are supposedly not allowed to cry because crying is a sign of weakness. But in women, crying is a sign of strength. Why? If crying is a sign of strength, then crying is a sign of strength. Doesn't matter what is your gender. And you know, effeminate men have to go through so much of shit all the time, from their friends, from family, from everyone around. They're almost like people treat them as embarrassments. They kill their individuality, and that is also because of patriarchy. Women invented tools for production, whereas men invented bows and arrows and spears, tools for destruction. So this line came up when the book was talking about how patriarchy actually came into the whole society. So it seems like women were more inclined towards the production part of things, whereas men were more inclined towards the destructive part of things. And when you are a little more in that destructive part of things, you get that power or sense of power, and you need to control people. That is where the patriarchy comes in. So what is my take from this book? Well, it is an important book because nowadays, thanks to the exposure, the social media exposure, we get to know a lot of terms: feminism, patriarchy, misogyny, but we don't know exactly what the terms mean. And that's where we kind of confuse and dilute the terms at times, which is where this book is very important. Shows you exactly what patriarchy means, shows how patriarchy works, and how it is not about you or me or a certain individual. It is about a system, and all of us are fighting against this system and no particular individual as such. After reading this book, if someone really puts in their mind and probably tries to bring in some change within themselves or people around them, then I think the book has done a superb job. Other than that, once you read the book, you will have insights into how patriarchy shapes the power dynamics, social norms, and gender roles. Men are not supposed to cook. Women are supposed to stay at home. All these gender roles that have been defined by God knows who is being followed thoroughly by a lot of people. A lot of people are suffering because of that. All that, you will realize where it comes from, or what is the thought process, or what was the thought process that it came from. This book also encourages one to critically analyze and challenge these entrenched structures, fostering awareness and a commitment to gender equality. And mind you, gender equality, when I speak about gender equality, I don't mean men are greater than women or women are greater than men or anything of that sort. You can be of any gender. You deserve equal chance. You deserve equal exposure. Kamla Bhasin's work generally inspires readers to advocate for change, promoting a more inclusive and equitable world for all genders. Hence, of course, everyone should read this book. And in this book there are stats as well, but the numbers might have changed, some for the better, some for the worse, but the concepts are the same. The society probably is plagued as much as it was when Kamla Bhasin had written this book, and this book can really bring about a change in your thought process, which is important. As it says, charity begins at home. So start with yourself, pick up the book, read it. And other than that, you have to do 3 more things. You have to like, share, and subscribe to Vachi Productions and Talent Management, and keep joining me for many more such episodes. Till then, take care.